In a world where technology is evolving faster than ever before, a new question has emerged. Are students developing real understanding, critical thinking, and independent skills? Or are they becoming dependent on machines to do the thinking for them? This documentary, Artificial Intelligence, The Illusion of Learning, explores the hidden impact of AI on modern education. It challenges us to reflect on whether AI is enhancing knowledge or quietly replacing the very process of learning itself. Many are concerned about the application of these technologies, especially as it relates to education. We therefore seek to examine the use of these technologies by comparing their usage and applications with processes used before the advent of these technologies. Kolb's learning cycle, as well as the constructivist approach to learning, will be examined to determine what typical learning processes look like in comparison to the contemporary learning process, and to assess the negative impacts of artificial intelligence technologies on skills attained through these learning processes. This team of educators took up the challenge.
It is necessary to examine how students use AI to evaluate its impact on reflective practices. Findings from a survey conducted by our group, with 10 high school students chosen at random on the 19th of March 2026, showed that only 2 out of 10 indicated that they read the results of AI to understand. 3 said they paraphrase, and 5 stated they copy and paste. There is little to no interaction with the task. Thus, that procedure eliminates the thought process. This demonstrates a distinct absence of reflective and reflexive practices. According to Jean Piaget's constructivist theory, the learner has to create meaning from the information received from an experience after reflection. Tahena, 2015. Piaget suggests that learning occurs only when people actively build meaning from their experiences. Tahena, 2015. A requirement of reflective thinking. When a student misses that phrase, they are not learning. Instead, they are transferring information. However, by using AI in this manner, students bypass the initial battle with the topic, the necessary introspection to understand it, and the correction of their thinking.
Alexa, play video
now.
I use ChatGPT, Gemini, Chrome, Google, and Grok.
That's a lot. What do you use them for?
For homework and study, basically everything.
Everything, wow. So when you have homework, how do you use these AI tools?
You take a picture, then you ask for the answer, then you wait for the worker with the answer.
And after you get the answer, what do you do?
Just copy the creativity.
AI is my best friend, it's my chef, it's my lesson planner.
Do you think of AI affects anything in terms of you coming up with your own recipes, you thinking or problem solving or even reflecting on what you did?
Yes. Some things are good, whereas like if I put it in and I can't solve it, it'll help me get there. But for the most part, it just lets me not think for myself. It makes everything too easy. I feel like my brain cells are dying using AI, honestly.
Oh.
According to Nerman 2022, Kolb learning cycle highlights learning as a continuous process grounded in one's experience where knowledge is constantly being created and recreated.
Let us take a quick look at the constructivist approach.
In the constructivist approach, learning is seen as an active process where learners are responsible for their own learning, and the presence of new information requires that all information held by the learner is scrutinized.
The abuse or misuse of artificial intelligence technologies
threatens to hamper the development of skills acquired through the learning processes, such as critical thinking, problem solving, memory and cognition, while causing reduced academic motivation and reflective learning deficits. According to Bolden 2017, reflection requires critical thought. The development of the ability to think critically has not only been highlighted as an essential life skill, but also as a goal of education, an invaluable asset on the labor market, and a necessary skill for informed citizenship. Ennis 2018, Idrisian et al., and Gurlich 2025. According to Thornhill Miller al. 2023, as cited in Ruiz Rojas et al. 2024, critical thinking involves analyzing, evaluating, and synthesizing information reflectively and deliberately, questioning assumptions, examining evidence, identifying biases, and forming an informed conclusion. Simply put, critical thinking is reasonable reflective thinking focused on deciding what to do or believe. Ennis 2018. The constructivist approach to learning has been praised by many authors for its ability to promote the development of critical thinking skills. This is due to the active participation of students in the construction of their own knowledge, being the heart of this approach. Bat G 2023, which therefore allows learners to assess the strengths and weaknesses of their prior knowledge or to critique existing concepts. Nupatri et al. 2021. This learning process is endangered by the increasing availability and usage of artificial intelligence resources due to the over-reliance on these tools, which has contributed to increased rates of cognitive offloading. Gurlich 2025. Cognitive offloading, as defined by Chirayath et al. 2025, is the use of external aids to reduce mental effort and conserve energy for more meaningful activities. In the spirit of the adage, too much of one thing is good for nothing, the over-reliance on these AI tools has resulted in decreased engagement in cognitive processes that facilitate critical thinking. This inhibits the individual's ability to effectively engage in reflection. Gurlich 2025.
Another skill negatively affected by AI is problem solving, which is developed for experience-based learning. Problem solving is a process which involves systematic observation and critical thinking to find an appropriate solution or way to reach the desired goal. Rahman 2019. The constructivist approach to learning by Jean Piaget positions a learner as an active agent with instructional tools to facilitate learning. In this case, AI technology is the facilitator. There is a process of adaptation a learner experiences when faced with a novice problem or when in a state of disequilibrium. Jean Piaget deduced that the process of adaptation comprises of assimilation and accommodation. Hafsling et al. 2021. In Unit 2, strategies for deriving meaning are presented. The first stage is when an individual makes sense of the experience, and there is a formation of a tentative definition. At this point, there is reflection, where an association is made to the existing framework and the new experience, according to Jean Piaget's assimilation, Muller et al. 1896. The individual adds to what already exists without any change. The second step is negotiating by exploring others' perspective, researching and listening. The third step is making adjustments to the meaning or framing the tentative definition to make it operational. Jean Piaget terms it accommodation, which leads to equilibrium where the problem is solved. This is important in problem solving as it is about understanding the problem, working through it, and making meaning of the results. Essentially, the entire learning process that develops problem-solving skills is being skipped.
The integration of artificial intelligence into the learning process fundamentally alters how a learner moves through Kolb's experimental learning cycle. While artificial intelligence can accelerate certain stages, it also risks short-circuiting the cognitive effort required for long-term memory formation. As it pertains to reflective observation, this is the stage where the learner ponders the experience of AI tools like Gemini. Chen 2025 stated that AI tools are highly efficient at providing instant feedback and analysis, but if a learner asks an AI to reflect for them, for example, summarize what I just did, they bypass the temporal lobe's role in pattern recognition. Deep reflection is essential for moving information from working memory to long-term storage. Offloading this process can lead to digital amnesia, where the brain fails to prioritize the information because it wasn't processed internally. If learners continue to rely heavily on artificial intelligence, whilst AI does the synthesizing, the students' brains do not engage in encoding, which is the process of moving information into long-term memory. It is stated that without encoding, the information is borrowed and not learned.
In fact, many students never access books or other print media or any published media such as e-journals or e-books to conduct research, as they depend on AI to produce essays, solve problems, and summarize complex content. Although this practice may improve efficiency, it reduces the need for sustained effort, persistence, and independent inquiry, which are essential drivers of academic motivation. According to Kolb's experiential learning theory, meaningful learning occurs through a cyclical process involving concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. When students rely heavily on AI to complete academic tasks, these critical stages are bypassed, limiting opportunities to engage actively with material and construct understanding through personal effort. This shift may also restrict creativity and originality, since automated outputs often follow structured and predictable patterns, rather than encouraging deeper exploration of ideas. Kolb and Kolb 2005 emphasized that experiential learning environments promote engagement, ownership, and persistence by positioning students as active participants in knowledge construction. In contrast, excessive automation may encourage a more passive learning approach, reducing students' sense of responsibility for the academic work and diminishing their personal investment in learning. Over time, this dependence contributes to surface-level understanding that weakens discipline and fosters a mindset in which effort is avoided rather than valued. Students who rely heavily on AI may also experience increased academic anxiety and reduced confidence when required to perform independently in examinations or real-world situations where such tools are unavailable. Ultimately, sustained reliance on AI tools risks disrupting the experiential learning process and diminishing students' intrinsic motivation to engage deeply with academic challenges, persist through difficulty, and take ownership of their intellectual development.
AI, which has been increasingly applied in academic work, has been found to undermine a vital aspect of students' development called reflective learning. Kolb experimental learning cycle states that a student's learning process should start with an authentic experience. However, AI has made it possible for students to avoid actual engagement in given assignments by simply generating answers to questions. For example, a student who relies solely on AI to complete an action research-based assignment might have difficulty reflecting on what they have learned because they did not participate in the process. This approach weakens reflective observation where critical self-analysis should occur. Instead, They rely on AI to produce reflections that are mere performances, according to Venichik and Yoromaz 2025. Furthermore, reflective learning entails students creating personal meaning, and AI interferes with that process since students receive ready-made explanations from AI tools. Studies show that students who use AI tools become less able to think critically and learn new concepts. They go from being active participants in their own learning to passive consumers of information, according to Wang and Lee 2024. In addition, AI tools inhibits reflective application through experimentation and experience. By providing quick answers, AI tools minimize students' growth and development, according to Alifek 2026. Therefore, we recommend 1. Promote structured reflective practice using models, example Kolb or Gibbs. 2. Use AI as a support tool, not a replacement for thought. 3. Encourage active and experimental learning activities. 4. Use AI technologies for the gathering of information, as these technologies allow learners quick and easy access to information, according to Kim and Adolphus 2024. And 5. Review and critique all information gathered through the use of artificial intelligence tools to preserve the meaning-making process and facilitate critical thinking.
While artificial intelligence has the potential to enhance learning and develop important digital skills, its uncritical use poses serious challenges to meaningful education. As demonstrated through Kolb's learning cycle and the constructivist approach,